Hello and welcome to Project 5P. Well, the preliminary trial for Tyler Robinson is officially over, and I've been seeing so much of the commentary from, it's just everywhere, obviously, all over social media, from, news stations to independent journalists, and everybody seems to have made up their mind on guilt or innocence. And I'm here to tell you that you all have it wrong. It's kind of scary, to be honest with you. The frame of mind that these people come out with their commentary on, I get it. Some of it is for views and clicks. You got to take a side. You got to be bold. You got to, you got to be kind of controversial in some ways to get that feedback and engagement. So in those terms, I realize that this video is not going to be popular amongst many, but I'm here to say that you all have it wrong. It's crazy. I think the people that are commenting so harshly on, see, bam, proven, guilty, he did it, see, he did do it, there's this evidence, this. You guys should never be on a jury ever in your entire lives. You should be, hopefully if you're ever selected for jury duty, hopefully they scour social media accounts, because you should never be on a jury. Likewise, those of you who say absolutely innocent, no matter what, borderline the same. But more so the other side, not because I think the guy is innocent necessarily, but because he's presumed innocent until absolutely proven guilty. And what everybody is missing in this is that this trial, preliminary trial, wasn't about guilt or innocence. There's so much evidence that the prosecution has yet to present. There's so much evidence that the defense has yet to present. This wasn't about proving guilt or innocence. This was about, is there enough probable thought? Is there reason enough for the state to think that this guy could be the one that did this crime? Is there enough of that reasonable suspicion for us to think that we go to actual trial to see if he actually did do it? Do we have a reasonable suspicion? This isn't about proving guilt or innocence. In fact, if you watched it, the judge had to remind these attorneys several times, like, whoa, okay, hold up. We're getting too far. We're getting too deep into these tangents of guilt and innocence. All this is probable cause. And we're getting, the prosecution is trying to show guilt. The defense is trying to show innocence. And that's not what this was even about. So guilt was not proven in this. Innocence wasn't either. But in our country, thank God, you don't have to prove innocence. You're innocent until proven guilty. And for those who say that he was proven guilty, it's absolutely ridiculous. If this was the actual trial, if this was the actual trial for his guilt or innocence, absolutely 100% he would have to be acquitted. He would have to be not guilty. There's no way from the... Now, I'm not saying that he is innocent. I have no dog in this fight. I have no reason to stick up for the guy, nothing. Anybody that takes a father away from their children, hang him. That's... If he's guilty, he's guilty. But what I'm saying is, from what was presented in this trial, there was no way that if this was the actual trial, that you could say beyond any reasonable doubt, yep, he did it, lock him up forever. Now, I understand human psychology is, we just humans in general, I'm not saying me or everybody, but we want to have that source of blame. This is the guy that's been pushed to us in media and everything. Everything you've been seeing is, oh, in this clip we see Tyler Robinson running across the roof, and in this clip we see Tyler Robinson going down the stairs, and this clip... No, you don't. You see a figure, a very blurry, tiny figure running across a roof. You don't see, but that's been ingrained in our mind, repeated over and over for 10 months. And here you see Tyler, and here you see Tyler, and telling you that this is what you're seeing. They're telling you what you're seeing. No, I'm not seeing that. Think for yourself, for God's sake. No, I'm not seeing that. I see a figure running across the roof. I don't see Tyler Robinson. I see a figure. You got to prove to me that that was him. And I know there's people out there, but they did prove it. They did prove it. I see so much comments of, now they've proven he was on campus 4 times that day. No, they haven't proven that. If you're looking at just stairway video or just a video of somebody walking through the parking structure, you're being told, and you've been ingrained for months to say that every figure you see like that, that's dressed in those clothes with sunglasses and a hat, is Tyler Robinson. So every time you see that image, now you're thinking, oh, Tyler Robinson, you're right. He is walking through the parking garage. Oh, you're right. He is that. Oh, you're right. I do see. No, you don't see him. You see a white male that is similar in description. I could put on a burgundy shirt and walk down that staircase and with jeans on and walk with a limp and probably look almost identical. You see a white male. Now, again, I'm not saying that the guy's innocent or that it's not him. And you might say, well, but they also have this and this and this. You got to consider all the evidence. Okay, that's a fair argument. But what I'm saying is your people are saying that's it. See, we now have evidence he was on campus 4 times that day. You don't. You just don't. Has anybody used facial recognition software? I know some independent journalists I've seen that have, and they've taken pictures of the stairwell image, the blurry and the cleared one that they used AI to enhance, and put it through facial recognition software and compared it to Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs, and it comes back a 99% match for Lance Twiggs. Now, I'm not saying Lance Twiggs did it either, because I don't trust every AI, facial recognition software either. But point is if this was a criminal trial, there is more than enough reasonable doubt. But that's not what this trial was about. So people need to stop saying, yep, guilty. See, told you, all you conspiracy theorists were wrong. He is the guy. See, they've proven it. No, they didn't. And they weren't, in their defense, they weren't supposed to. That's not what this trial was for. Or for those that are on the other side. See, look, holes in the evidence, that proves that he didn't do it. No, it does. That's not the case either. It does definitely pose reasonable doubt, but it doesn't prove he didn't do it. You can say, well, they found his DNA on the gun, on the shell casings, on the towel. Yep. They also found Lance Twiggs' DNA on all those items. And, if I remember correctly, the Dremel tool that was supposedly used to make those carvings into the shell casings was either all or primarily Lance Twiggs' DNA on that tool. Does that mean he did it? I don't know. That's my point is people are coming to the conclusion, and all over social media as if this was a criminal conviction trial, that they're making determinations on guilt and innocence, and that's not what this was about. This trial didn't do either one of those things. All it is probable cause. Now, if we want to have the argument about what is probable cause and what needs to be proven to make probable cause, that's probably a better argument to be having right about now. Because if you ask me, it's way too easy to arrest somebody for probable cause. You could, well, I don't know whether to say that. I don't want to give anybody out there any ideas, but I mean, hypothetically, if you had a neighbor you didn't like, you could very easily, with you and you put your friend up to it to be another witness, call in, make one phone call to police and say your neighbor did again, I'm not going to go down that route because I don't want to give anybody any nefarious ideas, but it's quite easy to make claims against somebody and get somebody accused of a crime. That part's easy. And I think what's going to happen in this case is it's definitely going to trial. Now, should it be that easy? Is it possible he was framed? Is it possible that he was part of it, but other people were also part of it and he's taking all the... I mean, there's lots of different possibilities, but should it be that easy to have probable cause? That's a better argument to be having, I think, personally, because it's pretty easy. And I think that most definitely there's, based on what has happened so far, I think undoubtedly the judge is going to say that there's enough probable cause. That doesn't mean he did it. That doesn't mean he's guilty. It doesn't, I mean, the standard, the barrier, the requirement for probable cause is so low. It's very, very low. The burden of proof for probable cause is very, very low. The burden of proof for an actual conviction of a crime is much higher. You have to prove beyond any reasonable doubt. To just have probable cause, all you have to show is that the law enforcement and the state has a reasonable, you know, there's yeah, it's reasonable to think that he might be part of this, or he might have done it. I mean, so the standard is very low. So I think that is going to definitely happen. He'll go to trial probably. But he's not convicted. Everybody on social media is blasting like this is a done deal. Like, oh, look at all this evidence they put out against him. Again, you haven't seen. Oh, look, even Lance Twiggs said that he confessed to him. Okay, do we believe Lance Twiggs? Has anybody done a background check and cross-examined him? No, nobody cross-examined him. Have they looked into his background? Supposedly he has domestic violence background, and supposedly he's the violent one. Supposedly there's people that are going to testify that he was violent and that Tyler Robinson was always a very calm person, very nonviolent. I mean, we haven't even gotten into any of that. So we need to stop convicting people before they've been convicted. There's people that have been convicted that are sitting in jail right now that never committed the crime that they were convicted of. That's just fact. You know how many people get released from prison years, decades later because new evidence comes out that shows that they never did the crime in the first place? Those people don't get those years back. It happens a lot more than you think, just because, well, I don't hear those stories. Of course you don't hear those stories. They're not going to be broadcast. That's not something that you want society to know. It's like, dang, we mess up quite a bit when it comes to putting people in jail that shouldn't be. And that's actual people that actually got convicted, went through an actual trial, and were deemed to have committed the crime beyond reasonable doubt. That's like I said, a higher standard, and people still go through that process and get wrongfully convicted. And it happens a lot. We're, like I said, a much lower standard. And when so many people are already convicting the guy. I get it. We want to have that source. People are angry. People are hurt. People are, like I said, I'm a father. I get it. Whoever killed and took away this father from his children, get them. 100%. Get them. Get him. Get her. Get them. Get them. Definitely. I'm all for it. But we have a process for a reason, and this process wasn't to prove guilt or innocence. And I think we so badly want because this is a situation where a lot of people have a lot of emotion tied to it, anger, hurt, frustration, whatever, that we want something to direct that energy towards. We want something to be mad at. And we've been presented this person, Tyler Robinson, and we've been told for 10 months, this is Tyler, this is him, this is him, this is him, that so many people have the mindset that, well, this has to be him. Because if it's not, who is it? If it's not, who did it? Where do I direct my anger? Where do I direct my hurt and my pain? We need just human psychology. We need a target. We need a source to direct that energy at. And I think so many people want to believe and want to convict the guy because we need that. We need that closure. We need that, again, that source to direct our energy, to direct our anger and our frustration, our hatred, our whatever, our hurt, our pain. As people, that's natural. And again, if it's not Tyler, who is it? So our minds kind of don't want to let go of that. Don't want to consider that. We don't want to consider the other possibilities because that leaves us in the unknown. And you don't want that. Well, if it's not him, then what is it? I mean, I have to have that to direct my energy towards, because if not, then what? Where are we left? Somebody's got to pay for this. Be slow to execute judgment. Again, dude might be guilty. Dude might be. That's not what this trial is about. And the people that are out there, all these commentators, all these social media, and I get it, like I said, you got to take a side. People feel like they got to take a side, and they got to go on social media, they got to tell their side, and they got to get clicks, and they got to get views, and they got to so this isn't going to go over well in that area, in that realm. And I'm not even, this is not what my intention is for my channel in the first place, is to be like some commenting just on societal issues and stuff like that in general, as far as just for the sake of doing it. But how does it apply to us? We got to stop convicting people, not just criminally, in our own hearts and minds, before we fully know. Well, I know. Not to blast Candace, because I'm not going to go there. But we don't know, but we know. Sometimes, so often we think that, like, we don't know for sure, but I know it was him. Or the opposite. We don't know it wasn't him. We don't know that TPUSA had something to do with it, or we don't know that Erica this or that. We don't know, but we know. We don't know for absolutely fact, but we know. You gotta stop condemning people for what you don't actually know. You can have suspicions and feel creeped out by situations and people and voice it that way, but to definitely 100% condemn people based on unproven things and opinions, and regardless of what side you're on, regardless if you're on it definitely wasn't him, it was the FBI, it was a conspiracy, it was the little country in the Middle East with the blue and white flag, it was TPUSA, it was Lance Twiggs, it was whether you're on that side or whether you're on, it was definitely him. Just be careful how you voice it. Just be careful how you're condemning individuals, groups, without actually knowing. And we have enough of that in this freaking country, because people are being released from prison all the time, that people went into a trial, probably a jury, with mindset of, this guy did this, this girl did this. They wouldn't be at this point in a trial if they were innocent, right? I mean, they got arrested, they've been through all this, they're already, they probably did it. So they go in already with that mindset, And then so every piece of evidence that comes along, they're fitting it into their preconceived notion, which is what everybody's doing right now. Everybody that's saying right now, oh, he's definitely guilty. Oh, look at all this evidence. They already thought he was guilty before this trial. The people that are saying, oh, he's definitely not. Look at all the holes in the evidence. Look, it could have been this. And look at all the DNA. Yeah, they say DNA, but this person's DNA was all over it too. And there's no conclusive. All the people saying that there's holes in the evidence and he definitely didn't do it, already thought he didn't do it before this trial. So nobody's changed their mind that I've seen as a result of what's been presented through this trial. Everybody went into this with their idea and their preconception of what they thought the truth was, and everything that was presented in this trial they used to reinforce what they already conceived in their mind. And we have to stop doing that. Not just for people and court cases and things we see in society, in your own life. You got to stop looking at situations. We got to stop looking at situations like, I think this person, I need somewhere to direct my anger. So my preconceived notion is that this person is responsible for the ways that I'm feeling or the anger that I have or the whatever. So I'm going to look for things that justify that feeling, and I'm going to try to fit them in to that frame of mind to justify my condemnation of that person. Life shouldn't work that way. We're not meant to judge and condemn that way. Have an open mind. Think of things, go into situations and circumstances and analysis with actual, true fact. Not what people tell you to think. Not, look at this picture. This is what you're seeing. No, I'm not seeing. I'm seeing a dude in a white dude in a hat and sunglasses. Now, look at this image running across the roof. What you're seeing is, so, I know it's hard because we've been infiltrated in our mind. We're constantly being, with social media, we've already been told what to think about this situation, one way or the other. But try to analyze truth, aim for truth, regardless of preconceived ideas, regardless of your whoever your favorite podcaster is or whoever your trusted voice is. There's a reason why we go into court and say that we agree, promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Truth is different than facts. There can be a fact. Oh, fact. This is a fact. Facts can be very misleading. Individual facts can be very misleading. A fact isn't the truth. A fact is one component of truth that can be taken out of context to try to create another truth. A false truth, to create a falsehood, to paint a different picture. And again, I'm not just talking about this case, I'm talking about in our lives. We got to start aiming for seeking truth and not just individual facts. Get after it.